So we're going to write equations of lines. Which of the formulas you use is going to depend on what information you've been given. But if you'll notice at the top of the page, it says to write them in both slope, intercept, and standard form, which the computer assignment, sometimes it's going to ask for it in slope, intercept, and sometimes it's going to ask for it in standard. So it'll just be good practice for us to do both. Okay, so in this case, they gave us a slope of -1/2 and a point. So they gave us a slope and a point. And yesterday, when we were talking, we had all of the forms. And the middle one is called point slope. Because if you have a point and a slope, that's the one you use. So that's the formula we're going to use, point slope form. I'll write just the form down so we don't have to flip back and forth. Y minus y1 equals mx minus x1. Now, the ones with the sub ones, this y1 and this x1, that is where you plug values in. The plain x and the y stay just like they are. So this is my point x1, y1. And we're just going to plug the information into the form. And then we'll have to rearrange it to put it in slope, intercept, or standard form. Okay, so it's going to be y minus 5 equals, my slope is -1/2, x, and it would be minus -2, so I'm going to put +2. Okay, so that's point slope form. And now we just want to make it into slope intercept form by distributing the -1/2. So that gives me y minus 5 equals -1/2 x minus 1. I'm still not quite in slope intercept form because I need to move the 5 over. So I'm going to add 5 to both sides. And I end up with y equals -1/2 x plus 4. That is this in slope intercept form. Now we're going to take the same line and we're going to rearrange it into standard form. Now if you look at when we took the notes yesterday, what it says about standard form, first of all, it's xy it's xy together, so ax plus by. So x and y are on the same side, equals a constant, and there can be no fractions, and your a value must be positive. So the first thing we're going to do is move our x value over to the other side so that it's on the same side with y. So when I do that, that -1/2 becomes positive. I'm going to come over here and do it. So I have positive 1/2 x plus y equals 4. So now my x and my y are on the same side together. I'm part of the way towards standard form. Only issue is I do have a fraction, so we have to clear the fraction. So remember, you clear fractions by multiplying everything by the denominator you're trying to clear. So I'm going to multiply everything by 2 on both sides. So right here, multiplying 1/2 by 2 eliminates the fraction, leaves just x, plus 2 times y is 2y, equals 8. So that is the same line as this, but it's in standard form. So this is standard form, and that's slope intercept. Okay, so on number 5, yesterday we calculated the slope by using the slope formula. Now that we have a slope, we can put this into the equation of a line by using point slope. So the point slope form again is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So there's your form. So I have 2 points. You can choose either one. It doesn't make any difference. This one's already labeled because we used it yesterday as x1, y1. So I'm going to go ahead and use it. I usually, when you're using point slope form, try to use the one with the smaller numbers. If there's one with a 0 in it, use that one, because that'll be the easiest one. But neither of mine has zeros, and this one's already labeled. Plus it is the smaller of the two. So that's what I'm going to use, just plugging numbers into the formula. So y, it'd be minus negative 3, so it's going to be y plus 3, equals, the slope I found yesterday was negative 1/2, x minus 2. So that's in point slope form. We're going to put it into slope-intercept form. So distribute the negative 1/2. So now I have y plus 3 equals negative 1/2 x plus 1. So getting it in slope-intercept form by getting y by itself. So y equals negative 1/2 x minus 2. So there's my slope-intercept form. To put it in standard form, I have to get my x's and y's on the same side. So I'm going to move this to the other side. It'll become positive 1/2 x plus y equals negative 2. Clear the fraction by multiplying everything by 2 on both sides. Multiply everything by the denominator that you're trying to get rid of. And that would be x plus 2y equals negative 4. Okay, so remember the rule on standard form is that no fractions and the lead coefficient, the a value, can't be negative. But the answer could be negative, your y value could be negative, it's just what's with x that can't be negative. Okay, so number 6, we're going to write the equation of this line. It says contains the point 0,4 and is parallel to 2. So if we want it to be parallel, it has to share the same slope. So that's why we're using m equals 2. And good news for us, this is a special point. This is the y-intercept. So this one's super, super easy. It would just be y equals 2x plus 4. So that's your slope-intercept answer. Now if you're going to put this in standard form, that means x and y have to be on the same side. So I'm going to move that over, and that makes it negative 2x plus y equals 4. But you cannot have a negative a value, so this won't work. So I'm going to change the signs on everything and make it positive 2x minus y equals negative 4. So there's your 2 answers for that one. Okay, number 7. We talked about the slope yesterday, but it wants to contain the point negative 4, 5 and be perpendicular to this line. So we had to first put this in slope-intercept form, which we did yesterday. Here's the line in slope-intercept form, but we want it perpendicular, which means, remember, you flip and change the slope. So the slope I'm going to be using is positive 3/2. And then we're going to use point slope form, because this point right here isn't a y-intercept. So I have to use point slope. So y minus y1 equals m. That's x minus x1. Just going to plug the numbers into the formula. So that would be y minus 5 equals 3/2 x minus negative 4, or x plus 4. Put it in slope-intercept form, so I'm going to distribute the 3/2. Still moving towards slope-intercept form, so I'm going to add 5. So I get y equals 3/2 x plus 11. It's my slope-intercept form. I'm going to put it in standard form, so I'm going to move the 3/2 over so that x can be with y. Okay, so now I have 2 issues with this. It is a fraction and it's negative. I can take care of that all together, or you can take care of it one at a time. It's more efficient to do it all at once. So instead of just multiplying by 2, I'm going to multiply by negative 2, and that'll take care of the negative at the beginning. So multiply everything on both sides by negative 2. And now it'll give me 3x minus 2. 2y equals negative 22. Alright, so 8, 9, and 10 are probably the easiest ones on the page. So if you identify what kind of line this is, y equals 3. So remember, we talked about special lines, ones that were just x equals something or y equals something. So I go back here, and if it's y equals a number, that means it's a horizontal line. So if I want a line perpendicular to this, perpendicular to y equals 3, and this is horizontal, then a perpendicular line would be vertical. And vertical lines are written as x equals a number. So I know it has to be x equals something, and it has to pass through this point. So x has to equal 5. That's the only way it would pass through that point. And that is it. And there is no, that's the only way you could write that. There is no standard form, slope intercept form, whatever. If it's a vertical or horizontal line, that's it. So this one, y equals 3, we have a horizontal line again, but this time it says parallel. So I need another horizontal line, which means it has to be y equals something. And since it has to pass through this point, y has to equal 1.
These are easy, but I can guarantee you will figure
Oh,
out.
I know it. Because they're almost too easy.
Yeah.
Okay, so perpendicular to x equals 4. Well, that's a vertical line. So if you want perpendicular, you need a horizontal line, which would be y equals. So it has to pass through this point, so it would be y equals -7. That is it. They're so easy. That's pretty much it. So some of the ones will probably ask you to, they'll be like this, and they'll ask you to graph the line, count the slope, and then write the equation, but once you have the slope, it's easy. So that's all today. Let me turn this on the line.